Hello, welcome back to another pregnancy update. So today is the 13th of March and I am 25 weeks pregnant today. I'll link my previous update videos here if you want to check them out and you haven't seen them already. But what I do in these videos is each week I talk retrospectively about the week that I've just had. So today I'm going to be telling you about my 24th week of pregnancy. So I did have a midwife appointment a few days ago. And I didn't jump on and talk about it on the day because it was just the same that it always is. The midwife appointments are honestly just kind of boring, like there's not a lot to say about them. It was really exciting the first couple of times to hear the baby's heartbeat with the Doppler, but like at this point it's like I can feel them kicking every day. So I'm not worried that there's going to be no heartbeat, because that was the thing at the start, like before I could feel them kicking. It's like, are they still in there? Are they still okay? Are they actually alive? But now that I can feel them moving like pretty much constantly, that's not something that I'm worried about anymore. And obviously because I'm past the 20-week scan, so we know that everything's like forming properly. So it is nice to hear their heartbeat, but it's not like the huge big deal that it was before I knew they were okay. And then what else do? They like check your weight, they check your blood pressure, they check, you do like a little pee test for, what is it? Protein and something else. So those were all fine. She gave me a referral for my gestational diabetes test, which I've got to do in a couple of weeks, and also my next ultrasound, which will be at 30 weeks to check that baby's growing at the right speed. So yeah, that was the midwife appointment. And then in terms of symptoms, I haven't had heartburn at all this week because I've been doing, I talked about this in my previous update because I had heartburn in like the week before. I've been having the same amount of food for dinner, but I split it into 2 plates or 2 bowls or whatever, and I have one lot and then wait an hour or so and then have the other part. Just so that I'm not getting as full, and so I have time to like digest and process the food first before I eat more. So that's been working. I haven't had heartburn, so that's really good. So as long as I can manage it just by doing that, that is nice and easy for me. I have been getting a sore back on some days, well most days I guess at this point, which I guess is just from the extra weight kind of pulling me forward as well. And I am really tired by the end of the day now. I feel good in the weekends because I've had like the chance to sleep in as long as I need to, but during the week, like I wake up and I feel like I haven't had enough sleep, which I know, you know, it's hard to wake up on a work day anyway, but it is worse at the moment. It's like I'm waking up and being like, I could sleep for another 2 hours. I have, I think, started producing colostrum, just a little bit. Colostrum is like the pre-milk, and you can start kind of producing / leaking that during pregnancy. It's only a very, very tiny amount, but yeah, some days I notice that there's a little bit, and actually one day, when I took my bra off at the end of the day, I noticed that there was like a little wet spot. I'm not like leaking enough to kind of show through my clothes or anything though, which is good because that would be a little bit awkward. I'd have to start wearing like, I guess, breast pads or something. But it's not that much at the moment. It's a very small amount. And I think I felt hiccups once. I'm really not sure. People are like, you'll know when you feel hiccups. And I'm like, will I don't know. But one day there were these like really regular and quite quick movements that were all in the same place, all very kind of rhythmical, same space apart. And I was like, that's probably hiccups. And they were like lighter than kicks, because the kicks now are getting quite strong, some of them anyway. And they're kind of in all different directions. Like some of them go straight out my tummy, some of them go down to my bladder, some of them I can feel going kind of backwards-ish. But yeah, these ones were like all in exactly the same place. And yeah, I was like, maybe that's hiccups, I don't really know. But I only felt it one time, so I don't know. And in terms of weight gain, how much have I put on now? Actually, let me check my app. I think I've put on 6 kilos, 6 or 7. I think it's jumped a bit since last time I told you anyway. Yeah, I've put on 6.5 kilos. So I'm still gaining kind of at a good rate. I have definitely started putting on more weight faster in the last couple of weeks, but I'm still like within the amount that I'm supposed to have put on at this point in the pregnancy. And I don't think I actually got around to showing you my bump in the previous update, so I'll show you that now. Obviously my dress is not tight today, but if I just kind of stand normally, you can see, you know, the dress doesn't hang kind of straight down like it used to. And then there is the bump. That's a better angle. You can see it much better here, like how the dress is kind of going outwards to cover it. But yeah, there's my little baby. Yeah, that is me for 25 weeks. It's the 20th of March and I am 26 weeks pregnant today. It's actually Jonathan's birthday today as well, so that is exciting. We are going over to see his parents for dinner, and yeah, we're just having a really nice relaxing day. So I don't have too much to talk about from week 25. I've only written down a couple of things. So one of them was that I have been getting more emotional, and this kind of goes back a week or two as well. I just didn't really think to talk about it, but like when I watch movies now and there's a sad part, I will almost always cry, and I did not used to cry at movies at all. Oh, and even like YouTube videos, I cried at someone's YouTube video the other day, which is just not how, like, I would normally feel sad, but not like actually cry about it. We had a really long night at school the other day because we had parent-teacher interviews, which went until 8 o'clock after, you know, a full day of teaching. And then we still had to go to work the next day. So I was really tired the next day, and I cried in the morning when I got up. I cried in the car on my way to work, and then I cried again in the bathroom when I got to school. And nothing was wrong. Like, the interviews were fine. Obviously I was tired, but like nothing was wrong. I wasn't sad about anything. So yeah, I'm just like emotionally heightened at the moment. So yeah, that is something that I know is really, really common, and obviously I have like, I've talked about it in the past. It kind of comes up every now and then. I feel like it comes up mostly when I'm having a long week or when I'm getting really tired from work and stuff. I've started getting coning if I use my abs, like if I'm lying down and then I get up using my abs rather than pushing myself up with my hands. I've noticed I've started to get coning, which is kind of where your abs kind of go pointy. Basically, you're supposed to try and avoid it. It is something that happens during pregnancy. I don't know if it happens to everyone, but it's basically a sign to say that that's not something you should be doing while pregnant. So I have to be really careful how I like sit up and how I get out of bed now, and even how I roll over in the middle of the night. So like honestly, every time I wake up to roll over, it's an ordeal now because I have to do it so slowly and so carefully. But yeah, it's just one of those things where like I know in pregnancy you have to kind of slow down, and I have been slowing down a lot, but this is just like another sign that it's like, okay, take your time even more. And the only other thing that I've written down is I've started kick counting, which I think you're supposed to start by like 28 weeks, but I mean you can start whenever, so I just thought I'll start it now. I'm not religiously doing it every single day because I don't have to be doing it yet. I'll probably start religiously from like 28 weeks when you're supposed to be doing it, but at the moment it's just, I do it most days. I probably do it like 5 or 6 times a week, but like on the night that I was home super late I didn't do it because I just wanted to go to bed and sleep. I didn't do it last night because we had a friend over who was here until like 10:30 at night or something. So, you know, like if I'm busy, I don't do it, but every other day I do it. I generally try and do it after dinner because the baby is usually quite active after dinner, and I'm not going to do it while I'm at school because I'm busy doing other things. So after dinner seems to be a good time when I can just kind of sit down and focus on the kicks for a bit. And it doesn't take long. I think you're supposed to feel 10 kicks in the space of an hour, but if you choose a time when they're like active and kicking, it does not take long at all. So mine usually only take a few minutes. Let me actually go to my tracker. So the longest one that I did took 16 minutes, but that is because the baby was just they were being shy, and they just stopped kicking every time I opened the app to start tracking. But usually they take less than 5 minutes to get 10 kicks. And honestly, with that 16-minute one, I probably should have just stopped, left it, and waited until they were kicking again. But yeah, it doesn't matter. I think as long as you feel 10 kicks in the space of an hour, then it's fine. Even if you don't, like, they're probably just asleep, and then you just pick a different time and try again. But yeah, that is all I wrote down for 25 weeks. The crazy thing is, week 26, which I'm just starting today, this is my last week of being in trimester 2. So next time I jump on and update you, I'm going to be in my 3rd trimester, which is just crazy. I get a daily update on my baby app as well, and today's one said that baby is 25% of their birth weight. And I'm like, how am I 2/3 of the way through the pregnancy, but only a quarter of the way through their weight gain? I mean, it just goes to show how much they actually grow in the 3rd trimester, and why 3rd trimester is going to be so difficult for me. If they're going to put on 75% of their weight in 1/3 of the amount of time that I'm pregnant for, that is a crazy growth rate. So I'm looking forward to seeing my belly grow, and, like, you know, knowing that they're developing lots and getting closer every day to being healthy and strong. But I'm like kind of nervous for like how uncomfortable I'm gonna be, how painful things are gonna get, how difficult everything is gonna get. Like, I've talked about this before, but like breathing is not as easy as it used to be, and I'm like, is that really gonna get that much worse? It probably is. And like how my belly's starting to get in the way of things, that as well is gonna get so much harder. The tiredness, I can imagine, is just going to be so much worse. So I'm excited for it, but also like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to handle it? So we'll wait and see. It'll be fine. But if I get way more like complainy in these updates, yeah, I mean, obviously you know why, but yeah, I can imagine that I'm just going to be complaining the rest of the time. So look forward to that. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Obviously I did have a bit of a cry a couple of days ago, but overall I'm still feeling good. I'm still happy. Occasionally I get overwhelmed with like the amount of stuff that we need to get ready, but now that I've kind of spread it out, given ourselves like a couple of jobs to complete each weekend, I'm feeling a lot better about that as well. So I'm not feeling super overwhelmed by anything at the moment. That will probably happen in a few weeks as well. But as we are right now, I'm feeling pretty good about everything. So yeah, that is me, and I will see you again next week with another update. It's the 27th of March, and I am 27 weeks pregnant today, which means I'm officially starting my 3rd trimester from today, which is just insane. Evie's meowing in the background. I don't know if you can hear her. I think she just wants to be involved. So in week 26, Jonathan and I bought a bassinet, like a kind of a co-sleeper, one that goes right next to the bed, with a zip down side. So we got that secondhand from Facebook Marketplace. It's actually the most expensive thing we've bought so far. It was more expensive than the cot. And there were cheaper ones on Facebook Marketplace. The reason we went with the one that we went with is because like no one was getting back to me, which I totally understand. Like everyone that's selling a bassinet probably has a very young baby at home, like probably like a 6-month-old baby. Whereas if you're selling a cot, your youngest child is probably like a few years old, because you can use the cot for a few years. But yeah, so no one was getting back to me, so I ended up just messaging people that were selling more expensive ones. We still got a huge discount on what we would have paid if we got a new one. And I mean, I guess paying a higher price for something like a bassinet is fine because it will have been used so lightly, because I know they outgrow them so quickly. So anyway, we've got a bassinet. We haven't set it up yet. It came in like the carry bag in like parts. So that is a job that we're leaving for later. I've now put on 8 kilos in total. I'm definitely starting to feel heavier, like the lower back pain is starting to get a little bit worse. Center of gravity is definitely starting to shift. Oh, I had random pain the other day, kind of like low on my uterus, and it didn't feel like round ligament pain, and it didn't feel like cramps, like the growing cramps that I kind of had earlier in pregnancy. It was just random pain on one side and quite low. I still don't really know what it was. It lasted all day, it bugged me all day, and then I woke up the next morning and it was gone, so I really don't know what it was. It could have just been that the baby was like sitting on something. I'm going to assume it was that, because I don't know what else it would be. I have been quite hormonal again. I think I talked about this last week, but yeah, still going, and I think it's mostly down to just being tired. Working 5 days in a row now is quite hard. It gets to like Thursday and I've basically had enough for the week. So like Thursday and Friday are quite hard to get through. And so like by the end of the week, especially in the evenings, I am starting to like argue with Jonathan and get annoyed at Jonathan a lot more than I usually would. So the other day we were trying to plan like our baby shower and the maternity photo shoot. We were literally so annoyed at each other in this discussion. I almost cried and I had to be like, we're gonna shelf this discussion and come back to it another time, because I could recognize that I was getting emotional over stuff that I wouldn't normally. And I recognized that it was because of my pregnancy hormones. But there's not much you can do about it in the moment other than just be like, we're gonna revisit this later. So we shelved the conversation. I think that was Thursday night. We came back to it today, actually. Today's Sunday. And it went a little better today. But yeah, I do find in general my mood in the weekend is so much better because I'm getting the sleep-ins, or I'm getting, you know, the amount of sleep that I need. I'm also not having to be like doing a certain amount of stuff during the day, so I'm able to like rest as much as I need to, and then my mood is way better in the weekends. And then during the week, yeah, I'm a lot more prone to crying, I'm a lot more irritable, I'm just a lot more everything during the weeks. We've only got 3 more weeks to go until the first school holidays, which I'm trying to get through without taking a day off. On the final week, actually the Friday is Easter Friday, so the final week will only be a 4-day week, luckily, but I have 2 more like full weeks to get through before that, and I'm trying to get through them without taking a day off. I have it in the back of my mind that like if I took a Wednesday off, I could have just 2 days of work at a time, which would be a lot more manageable. But I don't want to do that 2 weeks in a row. So I'm like, if I get desperate, I can do that one time, but I'm trying to power through. And I know I've got 4 more full weeks of work when I go back after the holidays, but hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers, my school will organize a teacher. Well, they have to organize a teacher to take over from me when I go on maternity leave. But what I have my fingers crossed for is that there'll be a bit of crossover time for them to be in the class at the same time as me, to like meet the kids and get to know them and see how our routines work. So I'm hoping that I'll have a bit more downtime next term, because obviously like they'll watch me at the start, and this is all like speculation. This may not happen at all. There may be no crossover time, but in my perfect world, there'd be some crossover time and they would start by kind of just observing, and then after a few days I'd be able to pass on a lot of the teaching and a lot of the planning and a lot of the responsibility to the new teacher, which would mean my job would get a heck of a lot easier. So I'm hoping that's how it's going to go next term after the break, because if I'm this tired now, I can't imagine what it's going to be like in 5 weeks when we come back from break. But anyway, speaking of the baby shower and the maternity photo shoot, because I did have that conversation with Jonathan today properly without us, you know, flaking out on the conversation. We've picked a date for both, but we haven't like booked anything yet. So we haven't sent out the invitations for the baby shower, and we haven't booked the photographer for the photo shoot, but we have our dates that we want, and kind of our time and location for both. Both are going to be here. We're just going to do them at home, the shower at home and the photo shoot at home. And they are both going to be in the school holidays, so I'm really looking forward to that. And the only other thing from this week was that I had my 1-hour gestational diabetes test yesterday. My midwife told me I had to get it done at 26 weeks, and so obviously I'm 27 weeks today, so I got it done on the last possible day, purely because I didn't want to take time off work. And they're only open they're open 7 till 4, I think. But, you know, if I were to go at 7, which when I've had blood tests in the past, I've gone at 7 so that I can do it before work. But because it's an hour-long test, I didn't want to have to stay there for an hour, or by the time they see you, like an hour and a half, and that would have made me late to work. So, and then I'm not finished work at 4 o'clock. So I decided to just go on a Saturday because they're not open on a Sunday. So I went on a Saturday, and they're only open what was it? 8 till 12 on a Saturday. So I went like early-ish yesterday morning, and I went in thinking, because I had no idea kind of what to expect. So I thought I could go in, and normally you take a number and you scan it and then you sit down and wait for your number to be called. But in my head I was like, I'll tell them I'm here for the 1-hour glucose test. I'll get them to give me a drink straight away so that my hour starts straight away, rather than having to sit down and wait to be seen in the first place, just to show them a thing and then be like, oh, well, you need to drink this drink before we can do anything. Anyway, so in my head, I was going to get the drink straight away so that the clock would start. But no, I told them I was there for the gestational diabetes test, and they were like, yeah, take a number and sit down. I was like, oh, so fine. So I sat down for like almost half an hour before I was seen, and then the lady said I had to do a urine sample before I could drink the drink, but because I had no idea I was going to have to do a urine sample, I made sure my bladder was completely empty when I left the house, and I, you know, hadn't taken anything with me to drink because I knew I was going to have to drink the drink that they give you. So I had no urine to give them a sample of. So anyway, that was just, I mean, it was no one's fault. I just wish I had known that I had to do a urine sample, and then it would have gone a bit smoother. But anyway, so I did the urine sample, drank the drink. It was not disgusting at all. It literally just tasted like Sprite, and it's a very small drink as well. It's literally 50, is it 50 grams, 50 mils, 50 something. It's literally a little bottle. So drank that was fine. Waited an hour, did the blood test. The blood test was 4 vials, which I think is the most blood I've ever given in one go. I don't like to look at the needle while it's happening, but I could hear the blood coming out, which I always can. I don't like that, but it's fine. And I could feel every time she like unscrewed one of the vials and then screwed a new one on. And she put a second one on, she put a third one on, and I was like, okay, like I've had 3 vials taken before, and I was like, okay, this third one is going to be the last one. And then she put another one on, and I was like, what? 4 vials? And I was like, how many are you you doing? And she was like, just 4, this is the last one. I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Anyway, 4 vials of blood, done and dusted. Haven't got the results yet, so fingers crossed those are okay. I guess I'll know in the next week or so. I don't really know how long results take to come back. But yeah, that is pretty much everything from 26 weeks. And now, today, I'm starting my 3rd trimester. So yeah, I'll be back with one more update in a week from now. It's the 3rd of April and I am 28 weeks pregnant today, so this is going to be the final update for this video. So for my 27th week, obviously it was the start of my 3rd trimester, which was really exciting. I definitely feel like I've started nesting. Like every weekend when I have a little bit more energy because I'm not having to go to work, I am so onto it with like, I want to clean everything, I want to rearrange things, I want to empty rooms, I want to declutter. As you can probably see, I'm in a different room today. This is not the nursery, but my desk setup with my computer and stuff was in the room that is going to be the nursery. So today we finally like almost emptied this room. This had a whole lot of like kitchen renovation stuff in it. There's still a bit there, but we mostly cleared this room out, or the kitchen reno people did, and we were able to move my desk into here. So this is my new like office space. And also yesterday I brought up all the books that have been in like boxes and put them on the bookshelf, so there's books everywhere now as well. So yeah, just any organizational or cleaning things that I can think of I want to be doing all the time now. So definitely I've started nesting. My belly started to get a little bit itchy. It's not super bad. It just occasionally throughout the day it'll just be a little bit itchy. So I'm thinking maybe, because at the moment I'm only moisturizing my belly once a day straight after my shower, but I'm thinking I probably need to be doing it twice a day, like morning and night, to just help with the itchiness, because I know it's not good to itch, so I try not to. And Jonathan's had to start helping me cut my toenails because like last time I did it, I could reach on one side because I'm right-handed, so I could do my right side, but then to reach across to do the other side, my belly's too big and it's getting in the way now. So yeah, Jonathan helps me with that now. He's been so good. He's been so helpful and like expecting to have to help me with things and do things for me since probably well before he needed to be doing things for me or helping me with things. But yeah, he's been really, really good. And really understanding. Yeah, that's pretty much it actually. I've done a couple of workouts actually. I don't think I did anything the whole 2nd trimester in terms of working out. I feel like I have a relatively active job anyway. I mean, as a teacher, it's not like I sit behind a desk. It's not like an office job where I don't get up all day. I'm definitely up and down and moving around a lot as a teacher, but at the same time, I was talking to Jonathan about this the other day actually. I was like, it's probably the perfect job to have while pregnant, because at any point I can choose to be sitting or standing. Like I can teach while sitting if I need to, which I do a lot of the time now, and I did before pregnancy anyway, because you don't need to stand to teach. But you can also stand up anytime you need to. It's not like you have to stay at your desk in front of your computer. And like I spend a lot of time like walking around the classroom or like taking my kids outside to do whatever. And my apps keep saying like, if you have this symptom, if you have that symptom, try not to sit or stand for too long at a time. And I'm like, these are all symptoms, like a lot of them are symptoms that I haven't even had. And I feel like it's because I never sit for too long at once and I never stand for too long at once, because I'm just able to do either and switch between them all the time for my job. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I know I said 5-day weeks are long, and they are, and I'm still like tired
at the end of the week. Even thinking about the fact that, like, on a Monday and a Tuesday even, thinking about the fact that I have that many days left in the week is exhausting. But I managed to do a workout last Sunday and also today, which is Sunday. So I feel like, you know, after I recover on a Saturday and then I feel pretty good on a Sunday, like good enough to do a workout, obviously. So that's really good. I'm feeling good that I can do that again. Not really having any pain. Like, I've had back pain that's kind of come and gone a few times through the pregnancy, and I do have it some days, most days to be honest, but I haven't had it for a few days. I think I've had like 4 pain-free days, which has been really nice. So yeah, things are still going really well. Oh, we have just booked our photo shoot, which we're having done in 4 weeks, I think. And we also not booked, but like invited people to our baby shower, which is going to be in 3 weeks. We're just doing both of them here at our house. And yeah, but they're both booked, they're both like planned, and we've invited the people, we've booked the photographer, so yeah, that's really exciting. Anyway, I will show you my bump before I let you go. So here is my 28-week baby bump. It's so cute. I can't wait for it to get even bigger than this. I know it's gonna be painful soon probably, but I'm still really loving it. Anyway, that is me for 28 weeks, so I'll end the video here, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye!